Hi there everyone, it is currently picture right here. This is our tropical storm KHANUN moving off there towards northwest. Currently it's moving actually at a rapid knots following along the southern periphery of the Westpac High located out in this direction. Moving out there, likely going to be affecting Amani here into the next 24 to 36 hours as it continues to steam there in a northwesterly direction. And where else is going to be affecting? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about here. But first, let's talk about what the current factors really coming into the system right now. Well, it does have some fairly decent circulation around that center of circulation. It's kind of a very small storm at that, though. But as you can see, some very good banding starting to flow in from the south and also along the northern periphery, even though there is a lot of dry air off there towards the north. If we pull up that water vapor imagery that we showed actually earlier today, you can see this big area of black. That's indicating just a massive amount of dry air, although counteracting that is on the tip side of it, moisture flowing in from the south, and that's bringing an abundant amount of moisture to supply into the development further of this system. And also, let's take a look at the wind shear, because wind shear across it, it's about 10 to 15 knots. That's usually not conducive for tropical cyclone development, although it's coming in from behind it, and it's moving forward at about 15 knots. Thus, the apparent wind shear over top of the system is very minimum at this time as it continues to charge off there towards the north. So when is it going to be affecting Amani here? Well, let's take a look at one of the agencies, the Japan Meteorological Agency, and it does look like by about Tuesday afternoon into your evening hours, you will start to feel the effects of it as it does charge overhead. Heaviest amount of rainfall likely will be in this area, and if it does continue to follow this exact track, you might even see some heavy fall off there towards portions of Kyushu, and that's why I just pulled up this chart showing that center line on it, about 1712 UTC. That's about right about 1000, or excuse me, 2200 in the evening. But if it does continue to follow this, portions of southern Kyushu around Kagoshima Prefecture, due to that right front circulation circulating around this, could be seeing some heavy rainfall from it. But where else are you going to be seeing the heavy rains? Well, continuing the track off there towards the northwest, this system will go before it starts to encounter that rainy season boundary, which is currently located around the eastern portions of China, extending out there towards the Korean Peninsula, and then off across the Sea of Japan off there towards the north. Well, this storm is going to continue to follow along the southern periphery of that high pressure right in there. And once it starts drawing these lines, you can kind of gauge where it's going to go. Off there towards the north, hit that boundary, and then eventually recurve. Right now, the JMA track does kind of take it that direction. I do think personally it likely will recurve, possibly affecting around the Busan area, but more importantly, northern Kyushu is still going to be seeing some heavy rainfall from it, even though you are away from that center of circulation. Let's take a look at what the GFS model outlook does show. It shows it moving over Amani right there at about the Tuesday afternoon in the evening hours. Then it starts to push off towards the north and eventually hits that rainy season front. But the GFS model kind of keeps it weak. It moves it through the Yellow Sea off towards the Gulf of Bohai here, possibly bringing some heavy rainfall across much of that region into North Korea, where you do need the rainfall. So at this time, though, I think it's kind of split here on if it's going to churn or if it's going to continue north. Depends on how strong that front is right across this area. But if anything, this entire region there in the central portions of the Korean Peninsula, this would be exceptionally welcomed, as you're still suffering from one of your worst droughts in over 100 years. Now, good news is that the Korean Meteorological Agency also keeps it on this similar track, moving it out, basically following exactly the one I just showed you where GFS shows, moving it out and possibly affecting Seoul by the mid part of this week, going into the 17th, then you have the 18th, and then at least going into about Thursday, Seoul could see some heavy rainfall from it. Once again, very welcomed indeed across that area. And now let's take a look at what JTWC is currently forecasting, as they kind of hold more onto that recurvature type scenario, moving over Jeju-do and then across the Korean Peninsula, vice moving due north. But at least by this time, honestly, this is not going to be a organized system by the time it hits about this area right in here, anywhere into this zone. It will be rather disorganized due to wind shear aloft, tearing it apart. Rainfall will be the main factor here by about the latter part of the week. And also rainfall is going to be one of the main factors here for the southern portions and the northern portions, basically all the way from about Fukuoka down there towards the southern portions of Kagoshima on your Tuesday going into Wednesday as the storm does blow by just towards the south. And also you could be seeing some high waves, some rough swells out there. Definitely do stay out of the water, especially if you're not very experienced at swimming out here or surfing at that. And also I do want to mention, I know I have a lot of viewers here in Okinawa. Well, at least at this time the storm is going to blow off just towards your north. You're also going to be into the left front quadrant, thus the winds will be coming in from the northwest. Still might see some heavy rainfall, but honestly it will not be anything to worry about. I really wouldn't be very surprised if any of the military bases there are actually moved into any T-current conditions as this system does blow off there towards the north. And elsewhere across the Western Pacific, though, let's talk about this big band of cloud cover that's been bringing some heavy rainfall there in southeastern China. Actually, I saw a report out of Hong Kong earlier today where the Hong Kong Observatory issued some thunderstorm warnings for your local area as these storms continue to blow up, especially into the afternoon and the evening hours. And also the China Meteorological Agency stating there is a very strong possibility of some storms right there around the Guangdong province off towards the Fujian province. So lots going on today. Actually, here's a photo, a very vague and faint photo, but this is reportedly some northern lights near Mount Fuji today. So even here in Japan, you did see some of these lights coming out of the region. So I'm very thankful for showing this photo with me. And if anybody else has any other photos of the Aurora Borealis from across the entire region here, it is very welcome to see those come through. Very unusual and especially surprising to see them this far south due to this extremely large solar flare that did impact the Earth this week. But that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at WesternPacificWeather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them in the comment box below. And as always, stay safe out there. We will continue to keep you updated. And also on that note, please make sure you do continue to check back in with the official agencies, the Japan Meteorological Agency, the Korean Meteorological Agency, or also CMA here if you are in China. So thanks again for watching, though, and have a great day.